Good morning. Welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. It is May 30th, 2024. I am getting back on track for releasing my podcasts in the morning. This is episode 183. I'm a stand-up comedian and an actor, and I am a dreamer above all else, going for big things and just seeing what happens and documenting my journey on the way. So, let's see, if it's your first time joining me, it has been a very interesting week in the world of stand-up comedy. So over the last weekend, I was in Missouri filming some dance videos with an incredibly funny and talented social media influencer and comedian, Elizabeth Weichert. You can follow her stuff, Elizabeth with an S, Weichert, on social media. And she's already started posting some of the videos that we did together, which are just so fun. They're so goofy. One thing I really love about Elizabeth is, first of all, just how outgoing and expressive and just totally willing to put herself out there and just be her goofy, unbridled self, which is so refreshing and so energetic to be around. And she has a very unique mission, which is she really wants to help with mental health and suicide prevention, which is sort of her underlying why as to why she does what she does, which is just putting goofy, funny, lighthearted content out there in the hopes that somebody who's maybe struggling will see that and maybe be able to let go of maybe whatever it is that they are struggling with, or maybe at least just have a little bit of laugh to make the world not seem so dark and grim, because as we all know, the world can look very dark at times. So very grateful for Elizabeth. Now, just a few days ago, I also started a brand new exercise regimen. I signed up with one of those CrossFit gyms, which I've never really done this approach to fitness before. I've always had a gym membership at LA Fitness, but you just walk into this gigantic gym and it's just kind of like, hey, you go figure it out. Now, if you want, you can pay to have a personal trainer, a certain amount of times a week or whatever. And I actually did that for a little while at LA Fitness when I was still living in California. And I love my trainer. He was fantastic. But I don't know, just the pricing structure, the rigidity of it, I just didn't like. I didn't like how LA Fitness handled the training portion. Again, I love my personal trainer, and even he was sort of fighting against the system of how LA Fitness manages personal trainers. So that wasn't really something that once I moved away from Los Angeles, I didn't sign back up for personal training when I got back to Phoenix. And then last year, I tried a bunch of those. I was trying to dunk a basketball. Some of you who follow me know that I was seeing if I could increase my vertical and dunk a basketball. Didn't get there. I got to the point where I could touch rim, which was a huge accomplishment for me. But as part of that, I signed up for all of these online workout regimens, which ranged anywhere from just a PDF with, sort of like a daily exercise regimen and the reps and the sets that you should be doing, to I did the knees over toes guide, the ATG, I think it's called, which had its own app that I would log into, and then they had all of their exercise programs in this app, and then you could click into them, and then it would have video of of people demonstrating the exercise. And then what was cool about that is you could, within the app, you could actually film yourself doing the exercise and submit it to them. And then they would have online coaches look at your video and then give you notes on about how to improve your technique or whatever, so that you're maximizing the exercises. And I found that very valuable. But the challenge for me, and I don't know for anybody else always, is how do you maintain consistency doing anything like that, which is harder than doing nothing. Because doing nothing is always easier. And committing to diets, committing to exercise, it takes work, it takes energy, it takes focus, it takes discipline, it takes willingness to give up some comforts. It's like, well, am I going to go work out for an hour, or am I going to sit at home and watch TV for an hour, right? Sitting at home and watching TV is always going to be the easy choice. So I've always tried to find ways to hold myself accountable with that. I've done the 75 Hard app. So many different things. But anyway, so about a week ago, this CrossFit gym that's near my house started popping up in my Instagram feed, and they had some good Instagram ads. And my day job, I work in marketing and digital marketing and automation. And so I see that, and then I'm looking at it going, oh, that's so cool that this company got this ad in front of me. Because if anybody who's ever run digital marketing ads knows, even that just seems like a miracle to actually get your ad in the absolute ocean of digital advertising that just bombards consumers nonstop on social media. It's now on YouTube. Netflix is now running ads. HBO is now running ads. My HBO subscription is running ads. My Netflix subscription just started running ads. Hulu runs ads, Peacock runs ads, everything is running ads, right? And so whenever I actually see an ad in my social media that catches my attention and actually gets me to stop and look at it and consider it, I'm actually just really impressed with the marketer and the advertiser, because that's actually a huge accomplishment. Now, an even greater accomplishment for this company is I actually followed through. I went to that ad, I checked it out, and then I sort of wasn't ready to make a purchase decision right in that moment, but it planted the seed. And then over the next couple of days, I just kept thinking about it. I'm going, I think that might be necessary for me, is to actually have fitness classes that are at a specific time, that I actually need to go into their website and reserve a spot. And then I'm going to show up, and I know there's going to be a regimented routine. There's going to be an instructor there. There's going to be other classmates holding me accountable, or at least creating that sort of pressure to do well. And so I'm only 2 classes in, 2 classes in 2 days, and it's already been super great. I'm very glad that I signed up for it. I can already see how this will serve me in this approaching my fitness goals this way, as opposed to how I was doing it, which was pretty much all self-motivated. And I had something written on my whiteboard, and I had this app that would track stuff, but nobody's looking over my shoulder. Nobody's pressuring me. And it's just so much easier not to do it. So signing up for this class, I did a couple things. First of all, I put skin in the game, because now I've invested money. So now I have skin in the game. And now when I'm there, I have a trainer who's watching. I have other classmates. And this even happened last night. So last night on one of the exercises, and I haven't done any of these exercises before, so I'm still new. So I don't really know what my limits are. What ranges I should be, how much weight I should be adding on, how much reps. So I'm sort of in a discovery phase. So one of the circuits was doing a squat with the dumbbell. And there was another guy in my group who was a little older than me, but was in really good shape. And he had been working out for about a month. So sort of my litmus test was, I'll just, whatever weight he's doing, I'll maybe do like 5 or 10 pounds less, because sure, he's a little older than me, but he also seems in better shape. And I know he told me that he'd been working out there for a couple of months. So I was like, well, he's probably built some muscle. I'm kind of starting from the beginning. So on this particular workout, I saw him grab a 75-pound dumbbell to do the squats. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do 65. So I grab a 65 dumbbell, and then I put it on this stand. Well, then there was this other woman in the class who was the most petite. She couldn't have been 110 pounds, probably 5'6". I mean, just a skinny, slender woman with no muscle tone whatsoever. And she goes and grabs an 85-pound dumbbell, hoists it up on this stand. I'm saying a stand. There was this little platform that we would set the dumbbells on because you only had to tuck the dumbbells here, but trying to put them on the ground, it's actually a lot harder to get the dumbbell up here. But once it's here, you just sort of lock your elbows. So people were setting them on this stand, so they only had to lift from here to here instead of lifting from the ground. So I see her put an 85-pound dumbbell on the same pedestal that I had just placed a 65-pound dumbbell. And I'm going, I don't care how long she's been working out. There's no way that I should not be able to squat as much weight as her. And yeah, a little bit of male ego too of kicking in, just going, oh, come on. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm short selling myself here. So the next rep, instead of doing the 65, which was hard, I went to the 85 and I was able to do it. And I would not have pushed myself to do that had I not been in a classroom setting, had I not observed what the other people were doing and was able to gauge what I should be able to do based off of some other data points other than just my own intuition. Because as much as I would like to think that my intuition on point, there's a significant amount of historical precedent evidence to indicate that maybe my intuition is good sometimes, but other times maybe it's good to get additional data points outside of myself. So just that. And then also the class is extremely regimented, and they have these big television screens that have all of the exercises. They're demonstrating what they are. They tell you exactly what the reps are. And there's this timer, which is you're at this station for this amount of time. You do this much work, you rest for this amount of time, and then boom, you go on to the next thing, right? So there's none of this sort of loose, I'll just kind of work out how I want to work out, which is when I go to LA Fitness, what I would do, I'd have my phone on me. I'd go, maybe I'll go do some squats, then I'd do some squats, and I would just kind of guess, maybe I'll do 5 reps. Maybe I'll do 8 reps. This time I'm feeling like I want to put this much weight on. Maybe not. And then maybe in between reps, I'd be watching a show, and I would take like a 5-minute rest and not even care about it. It was just very, very loose, very disorganized, very undisciplined. And so this fitness class is just the complete opposite. Class starts exactly at 6:15. They do their stretches, which is another thing, is they have pre-workout stretches and post-workout stretches, which I'm also really bad at. And anybody who's ever involved in anything fitness will tell you how important warm-up and cool-down is. I've never taken that seriously enough. So overall, it's very good. I'm excited to be a part of this class, and I still have a goal. For July 20th, I am going to be going to Los Angeles for a meet and greet network meeting at the beach with my talent agency, which means I'm going to be at the beach with tons of actresses and actors and models and all of those types of people. And so it would be nice if I was at least in decent shape. Now, I have realistic expectations. I know I'm not going to be rocking a Matthew McConaughey Magic Mike body. That's probably never going to happen in my lifetime. At least it's not a priority of mine to put in the amount of work and effort it takes to get abs. But I can at least go in looking fit, feeling confident, being in shape with a good... So that's in about 2 months, right? A month and a half or so. So I will at least have a good month and a half of solid fitness and training. And what's also interesting about this is I haven't had a soda in 3 days. I haven't had a soda since I started. And it's not like I don't crave it, but now that I know I have this fitness class, I'm just going, oh, there's no way I'd be able to get through that class with a bunch of soda in my system. And, oh, there's no way I'd be able to get through that class with a bunch of fast food in my system. And so as a natural byproduct, the fact that I'm looking forward to this class that I do in the evenings, it's already adjusted my diet naturally, organically, and I'm not going crazy with it. I haven't been specific, but I've just been a lot more conscious of, oh yeah, I don't think I want to, I don't think I want to have a soda because, there's no way. And then, yeah, I don't think I want a cheeseburger. I'll think I'll try to find something a little more lean, just, and again, I'm not going like, I still had a sandwich. I still had bread. I didn't sub out all my carbs for lettuce wraps. Lord bless those people. Those are the people who are going to get abs and be in the Magic Mike movie, are the ones who are subbing out their hamburger or their sandwich buns for lettuce wraps. I'm not at that level, but it's such a significant difference than what I was doing. And so anyway, I didn't have any soda. And I always try to tell myself, well, I'm not going to do sugar soda, but then I would drink Coke Zero. Well, one of the things that my trainer told me, he goes, well, caffeine really messes with your testosterone levels. And he goes, and testosterone, of course, is really important for fat loss and muscle gain. And I'm going, and I always sort of felt that because those who follow the podcast know a little while ago, I was trying to do like 6 days with no sugar soda, and I was only drinking Coke Zero. But honestly, I didn't feel any different, and I didn't actually notice any difference. So in my mind, I was thinking, oh, well, at least I'm not drinking high fructose corn syrup. I'm just drinking aspartame instead. But there's still all of these chemicals in Coke Zero, the aspartame, the caffeine, all of this other stuff that's still going into my system, which is probably not natural or probably not organic, definitely not as healthy as just water. And so then I was just substituting one unhealthy addiction for possibly a slightly less unhealthy addiction. Maybe I can't even really say for sure. And of course you could Google stuff, but can you really believe what anybody's trying to tell you about a diet? Well, the science says this, and then you can find 20 competing articles all saying what the science says. So again, just trusting my intuition on that one. I have just really decided to cut out soda. I don't want to be, I want to be careful because I'm not going to say, I'm never going to drink soda again, because I just know that that's not practical. But just naturally, these last couple of days, I've only craved water, and I've only wanted to drink water. I've bought these electrolyte packets, which my buddy Jim Perry told me about like a year ago. He got way into prolonged fasting and actually tried it. I tried like a 3-day fast. So I only had water in these electrolyte packets. So I got some of those, and dumping some of those electrolyte packets in water is great. They got a little bit of flavor. They have 10 calories. They have no added sugar, but it kind of tastes just like a watered down Gatorade a little bit. And so they do trigger enough of my sweetness addiction to where it's fine. And plus it's just drinking a lot of water, and it's been 3 days, and just 3 days without soda, and my body just feels so much better. It's miraculous. And I've had this experience before because I've quit soda plenty of times. And it's just like my whole body after a couple of days just like resets. My joints feel better. My muscles feel better. I feel like my skin complexion is better. I feel like, I feel like my body tightens up a little bit, tightens up in a good way, I lose a little bit of flab, like all that stuff. And it's just like 3 days in. Now, of course, the big thing for me is, and always will be, how long can I sustain this, and what sort of sustainable habits can I create? And something about having this class where I need to sign up online. I get penalized if I don't show up. They charge a cancellation fee, so I can just map out the next couple of days, sign up for classes, and show up, get that commitment. So that's all part of this dream that I'm on. Now, what does this have to do with comedy? It has everything to do with everything, because everything about going for dreams is about finding ways to improve your life in ways that you can commit to and that challenge you, that hold you accountable, and will improve your life, not only in the short term, but in the long term. And that is something that is always going to be there for me, and I think for anybody. In terms of comedy, I am driving to Las Vegas late tonight, and I'm going to be filming another episode of the Midlife Crisis comedy podcast with my good buddy Josh Novi, and all kinds of things happening into the comedy front. And, so why did I talk about health so much? Because I really think life is supposed to be a holistic experience, that it's not just about being really extreme in one thing and letting everything else suffer. It's like, well, maybe you have a really great career, but if your relationships or your health have to suffer for that, you're busting your back 80 hours a week. Sure, maybe you're making 6 figures or 7 figures, but maybe you're miserable and unhappy and nobody in your life can stand you. And maybe your health has gone to, crap because you have to, caffeinate and medicate and, whatever. Or, maybe you're so into this health thing and you're working out so much and doing all of this that you're not able to balance keeping your finances order or your relationships, or maybe you go all in on this relationship, but then your work suffers or your health suffers, right? So to me, it's about finding that holistic, well-balanced approach to your life, to where your life is fulfilling in multiple avenues. Your health is fulfilling, your relationships are fulfilling, your work is fulfilling, your dreams are fulfilling, your hobbies are fulfilling. And I'm not saying I got that balance figured out at all, but I do know that for me, always challenging myself with some sort of health and fitness goal and always striving to improve in that area is always going to be a significant part of my overall health and well-being. And you better believe that bleeds into comedy, and it bleeds into relationships, and it bleeds into my work and everything. The more healthy and fit and healthier that I'm eating, just all ships in the ocean rise as the water level rises, and focusing on my health helps raise the water level. So that is the update for today. I am very much looking forward to heading out to Vegas tonight and doing 2 shows at the Notoriety Theater in Las Vegas. I will keep you updated and see how that goes. So for now, I hope your dreams are going well. Thank you so much for listening. I love you all so much. This is May 30th, 2024, episode 183 of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, and I will talk to you tomorrow.